And on our news tonight, a candlelight vigil was held for 13-year-old Quentin McKenzie, who was slain on Camp Road recently. Our news was there. 4 juveniles were charged in the magistrate's court today for the killing of that 13-year-old boy. And a story you won't see on any other network but our news. Our Jerome Sawyer has a sit-down with the life partner of Althea Newbold, the victim of that Long Island plane crash. Welcome to our news and thanks for tuning in. I'm Megan Shepard. Nearly a week after a teen was fatally shot at a Camp Road area park, a candlelight vigil and memorial service was held for the junior high school student. Though it got off to a rainy start, the wet weather could not extinguish the flames of support from that community. Our Jasmine Brown was there.
The memorial service and candlelight vigil drew crowds of people from around the community as the 13-year-old was remembered as a little boy who loved to play on the park.
I didn't even know he had this much impact. It's also, it helps, it helps to ease the pain a bit, because I'm not in this by myself. I'm not alone, and this is just another step to healing. Really, it's not a step to healing. Look at the ground, We're still hurting, but with the amount of people that showed up, it shows the impact that my son had.
The park where 13-year-old Quentin McKenzie was gunned down last Friday was transformed by scores of candles being held by family, friends, and members of his community who attended the vigil that was held in his honor. The LW Young junior high school student who loved baseball and video games was shot on a park in the Camp Road area just before 8 p.m. last Friday. His mother, Kissy Brown Pratt, and father, Quincy McKenzie, attended the service. Quincy says returning to the scene where his son was shot was a strangely healing experience.
This is the area where you lost your son, and yet there's an outpouring of support. How does that feel?
Well, when I first came out here, right before everything got started, I broke down because this was my first time after the whole incident. So it's a little mixed emotion, but at this point right now, I feel a little better, but still I feel a little better. The support, I don't know what else to say, but I thank everybody. I even thank you all this help.
While there were somber moments like when the family created a circle of candles on the spot where Quentin was shot, much of the vigil was spent reflecting on Quentin's short but impactful life. Everyone, from his best friend to his school principal, shared fond memories.
I'll miss hearing his jokes, reading his texts, but most of all, I will miss his smile and his presence every day at school. Walking the rest of the path alone without your friendship is very heartbreaking. I've cried a lot when you died, but I promise you, I won't let the tears overpower the smiles that you gave me when you were alive.
Quentin was a sweet, quiet, humble young man. When you speak to him, you will never hear a word of disrespect or back talking from him. The most he will do is bend his head and shyly look at the ground. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. He was an integral part of our school.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Thank you, Jasmine. Meantime, 4 juveniles were charged with murder for a killing that shocked the Camp Road community. Jared Higgs has more details in this report.
4 boys, ages 14, 15, 16, and 17, were accompanied by their guardians as they were charged with murder for the killing of 13-year-old Quentin McKenzie. The junior high student was shot and killed on Williams Lane off Camp Road on Friday, June 3rd. The teens, who were arraigned before Magistrate Cara Turnquest DeVoe, weren't required to enter pleas to the charge and will return to court on September 15th for service of voluntary bill of indictment paperwork. On Friday, June 3rd, police reported that around 8 p.m., they were alerted to the sound of gunshots in the vicinity of Uriah McPhee Primary School. When officers responded, McKenzie, a student at LW Young, had already been taken to hospital where he died. The teens charged with killing him were remanded to the Simpson Penn Center for Boys and were warned to be on their best behavior while in custody. Turnquest DeVoe urged them to respond to the adults there with sir and ma'am. She says bad behavior could see them sent to the adolescent wing of the Bahamas Department of Corrections. The teens showed little emotion as they were arraigned and hugged their guardians at the conclusion of the arraignment. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Well, if you're planning to fly to the States this summer, there's one thing you can cross off your pre-flight checklist, at least for now. The New York Times is reporting that the United States is expected to lift the COVID test mandate for international air arrivals to the U.S. That is expected to come into effect on Sunday and may be reevaluated in 90 days. Since December 2021, international travelers to the U.S. were required to test within 24 hours of departure. Meantime, Long Island Member of Parliament Adrian Gibson, who is at the center of controversy over an investigation into his time as chairman of the Water and Sewerage Corporation, addressing the issue during the recent regatta. The opposition MP saying at the time his focus was on the return of the regatta, and also saying this about the ongoing situation.
I continue to remain focused. I was elected to serve the interests of the people of Long Island. I will do that to the best of my ability. I will go into the House and fight for my people. I will use whatever I can to get whatever resources to come to the island, infrastructural and otherwise. And whatever I can do to move the island along, I'm going to do. I'm not going to be distracted by anything else. I know this is my primary purpose. I'm a member of Parliament representing the good people of Long Island, and I intend to continue to do so and to continue to do so to the best of my abilities.
Opposition and Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard and party chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands also addressing the issue.
We have to wait and see. We have a talented young Bahamian who's made a tremendous contribution to the country, who is now the representative of this island. We are here as family members supporting Regatta, supporting him. We will continue to do so. All other matters that are being contemplated, we'll see how they go.
Do you think that this political controversy that we've seen recently is going to perhaps shake up your base?
Look, the Progressive Liberal Party is in a process of distraction. They've had a dismal 9 months. They have very little to show. And so they are going to drip feed salacious, sexy stories about this and about that to distract from their dismal performance. We understand it. And we're going to meet them right in the street, but we're going to let them know, don't mess around with Long Island.
The Free National Movement's Parliamentary Caucus not only feel it's being treated unfairly, but the Deputy Speaker is seeking to silence its members during House proceedings. But as Berthany McDermott tells us, the F&M is not backing down.
I want Marcos to remove. Send Barnabas if you want to join him.
We thought that he was premature in the actions that he took. He certainly did not understand the procedures, and we were prepared to resist.
One day after, Deputy Speaker Sylvanus Petty attempted to remove F&M leader Michael Pintard from Parliament, opposition members feel they're being treated unfairly and that attempts are being made to quiet them, according to Pintard.
The vast majority of our members are of the view that we are not getting a fair treatment in terms of being able to express ourselves. And so we want to send a clear message that we're going to represent the people who have sent us to Parliament, and we're going to represent all Bahamians who wish to have a point of view expressed in the House.
The incident unfolded while North Abago Member of Parliament Kirk Cornish was contributing to the 2022-2023 budget debate. In his address, he accused the former government of having frozen hearts relating to their handling of Hurricane Dorian.
We were objecting to what we believe was unparliamentary language and an assertion that is not only dangerous for them to make against the F&M, but it's dangerous for them to create a climate in the country where you are painting a picture that policymakers don't care.
Following the objection, the Deputy Speaker asserted that there were to be no more points of order until the member's communication was finished, prompting the heated exchange.
The Deputy Speaker, unfortunately, has continued a pattern of behavior of seeking to muzzle the opposition when we are expressing ourselves, and we are unprepared to be muzzled.
The parliamentary rules state that for a member to be removed, the Speaker must first name them. The Speaker then has to put the question to the House for a member to be removed or suspended without any procedures. A yes vote then results in removal. Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
And looks like that rain is finally going away. But hey, I'm not the expert here. Our Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with the details. Greg?
Thanks, Megan, and welcome everybody for our first look at weather on this end of the week, Friday. Pretty nice outside. It's still warm. Temperatures in the low 80s and the partly cloudy skies. You notice the icon showing us some showers and isolated thunderstorms. They are in the distance. And your winds are out of the south, 5 miles per hour, and it's pumping in a tropical air mass. Feels like temperature, a humid 90 degrees. Satellite view, quiet, really across the area. A lot of that moisture that was affecting us still hanging out down in the central and southeast islands, but it is waning. Some isolated showers and thunderstorms down that way. We also had a few of those across the northwest Bahamas, Andros and Grand Bahama, seeing some of those. We most likely will see 1 or 2 more later on tonight, and it should be returning once again tomorrow. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Head down to the Bahamas Humane Society and adopt a pet. A woman is dead tonight, leaving a 7-month-old baby behind. We are going to have a sit-down talk with her life partner who remembers his last conversation with her. And celebrating a political hero. That's coming up when Our News returns.
Got size at 6'5". Hi, this is Shamika.
We are still awaiting the autopsy report on the victim of Sunday's deadly plane crash. Meanwhile, the family of Alethea Newbold is grieving the loss of this young mother. Her partner of 8 years and father to her young daughter spoke with our Jerome Sawyer today in a story you will only see on Our News.
A final voice note from Alethea Newbold moments before takeoff Sunday, telling her partner of 8 years, Tevin Newbold, she's headed home a few days early from helping out with a function.
The day she leaves, the day she is coming home, she texts me 8:41 and say, Tevin, be to the airport for 9 o'clock. And I have the message right on my phone. Say, be to the airport for 9 o'clock. I leaving now, we're in the plane now. So I call her. I say, why you coming home already? She ain't answer because must because she have a newborn baby, so she happy to see this baby.
In their final few WhatsApp messages together, he shares a photo of their 7-month-old daughter at his side. But sadly, Aaliyah will never get to feel her mother's touch again. Tevin is left to raise her alone.
So I can slow down and try to raise my daughter to be better than who her mama was. And do right and just, really easy.
25-year-old Tevin, who is a porter at the airport, waited on Alethea to arrive Sunday morning. That flight never came.
Trying to watch the plane live with my daughter in her hand, in my hand. So we was like outside, because I tell her, send me a live location. Because I could track down the plane so I could be on time with the plane and know when the land started, just sitting up around the airport. I to the airport waiting, asking the people around all to see what time this plane coming, They say, Long Island only 40 minutes, this minute. But after waiting so long, you get that. So I is a traveler, so I drive to the gas station, go and get a Subway sandwich for me and a foot long, and cut it in half, because I know after a long flight on a small plane, you will be hungry.
Social media reports alerted him to the crash.
I called the guy who sent her down there, and he tell me, say, well, Alethea passed. I say, you lying. I hang up the phone. I call back again. He said, but Alethea passed. I said, no, you lying. I started my piece of crime from Carl Library Road straight on to Michael Street, to by your daddy. Come over to Daddy house and tell him.
Now a single father, he agonizes over the fact that their daughter will never know her mother.
I can take a trip down to Long Island because I was traveling. So I can take a trip down there and show and just get understand. I'm just glad that she in the age now to be asking me where mommy is. Where mommy is, where mommy coming home. You know, read me more. But I get that luck and I get to show up and we can go down there. And I get that Australia because I'm gonna be a wonderful person. And she leave it mine. Happy baby. Baby happy. Healthy happy baby.
A young father mourning the loss of his teenage sweetheart turned life companion, now facing the challenges of a single father of an infant daughter. Reporting for our news, I'm Jerome Sawyer.
Truly heartbreaking, to say the least, and we will continue to keep the Newbold family in our prayers. 40 years ago today, Dame Janet Bostwick became the first woman elected to Bahamian Parliament. Her legacy was celebrated this afternoon at the Sapodilla restaurant. Our Marlena Leonard has more on this story.
Dame Janet Bostwick, a true trailblazer for women in Bahamian politics. And on the anniversary of her becoming the first female elected to Parliament, women of both major parties set down partisan walls and celebrated the woman who helped pave the way. Political pioneer Dame Janet Bostwick set a series of firsts. In 1980, she became the first woman to serve as president of the Bar Association. When she won her Yamacraw seat in 1982, Bostwick became the first female elected MP. In 1995, she became the first female Attorney General and even became the first woman to serve as acting Prime Minister in 1998. After a program full of female Bahamian legends, Bostwick's response expressed hope for future female Bahamian politicians and urged current politicians to focus on problem solving over politics.
This affects not only us, it affects our children, it affects the future. Get away with partisan divisions and look for the best solutions for our country, each one of us.
This focus on the next generation of young Bahamian women in politics was echoed multiple times during the ceremony, most notably by the former Speaker of the House, Ms. Rome Italia Johnson, who put forth a proposal for a Dame Janet Bostwick Institute of Political and Leadership Training.
I wish you to stand and agree that we should pursue this proposal and resolve ourselves to the establishment today of the Janet G. Bostwick Institute of Political and Leadership Training. And I ask you all to join me.
This celebration is a reminder not only of the groundbreaking difference Dame Janet Bostwick made for Bahamian women, but of the hope across party lines for an enthusiastic new generation of young Bahamian women to step into politics. Reporting for our news, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Still to come, a facelift for Gladstone Road. And those cute little pets from the Humane Society need families. We have the details when our news returns.
Got size at 6'5". Hi, this is Shamik.
This is our news. Welcome back. The conversion of Gladstone Road to a 4-lane highway will cost taxpayers nearly $30 million. Minister of Works and Utilities Alfred Sayers revealing just how pricey the project is slated to be.
This project is a major project estimated to cost $29 million, and the completion time will be 2 years.
Gladstone Road is an approximately 3-mile-long single-carriage road that often experiences very heavy traffic and delays. The redevelopment of the Gladstone Road stretch to a dual carriageway was first announced by the Minnis administration. In June 2021, then Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis said the government is proceeding with plans to redevelop Gladstone Road, and design work for the project was 60% complete. But no price tag was ever placed on the project until Sears gave a brief outline of the project in the House of Assembly.
It will be a dual carriageway, and it will avoid the bottlenecks for traveling from Carmichael Road up to our northern coast.
It is the weekend. Our Greg Thompson is once again in the Weather Center waiting to tell you how to plan your weekend weather-wise. And adopt a pet from Bahamas Humane Society today. The facility is overcrowded with pets needing a home. That's coming up when our news returns.
Got size at 6'5". Hi, this is Shamika.
Welcome back to our news. Here's our Greg Thompson with a second look at weather. Greg.
Thanks again, Megan, and welcome back, everybody, for our second look at weather. A couple upper-level features affecting our area with some drier and some moist air mass. Upper level low across western Cuba, and the other one just to the northeast of the Bahamas. The one across Cuba is actually pumping some moisture across central and southeast Bahamas. The other one just to the northeast, bringing in some dry air on the north side across the northwest Bahamas. But we still have some instability, so we're seeing a couple of showers and isolated thunderstorms, but much quieter weather across the area as most of that moisture is waning. High pressure is building in at the surface, and that will continue to dominate our weather into the weekend. We do expect some Saharan dust to get in here sometime by late Saturday into Sunday, so we're expecting some very warm temperatures beginning next week and much drier conditions. Boating forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas tonight to tomorrow. Winds will be out of the southeast to south at 10 to 15 knots. Seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Your low tide will be at 11:35 tonight. For the southeast Bahamas, caution flag posted for you guys down there. East to southeast winds at 15 to 20 knots. Your seas will be running 4 to 6 feet over open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In your extended forecast for the next 7 days, some isolated showers expected on Saturday, but as I mentioned, some Saharan dust will be moving in, a lot of dry air mass across us, and those temperatures will get up into the upper 80s to near 90, so it's expected to be a very, very quiet week. That's a look at our forecast. Make sure you have a good weekend. Back to you, Megan.
Thanks, Greg. The Bahamas Humane Society will temporarily close its doors to new animal surrenders. The reason? Overpopulation at the shelter. Marlena Leonard has more on this story from the Humane Society.
Founded in 1924, the Bahamas Humane Society has existed for almost 100 years. But these past 2 years have been especially challenging for the shelter, following a spike in animal surrenders, where, for whatever reason, pet owners are no longer able to care for their animals. Acting shelter manager Peter Feldman tells our news the shelter, originally intended to hold around 200 animals, is now doing its best to care for around 600.
We are taking care of all the animals that we have now, but we simply cannot take care of any more animals at the moment.
Feldman says the steep increase in the shelter's population began after Hurricane Dorian and continues as families struggle financially in the pandemic. But it should be noted that the shelter's main intake doesn't come from these cases of single pet surrenders, but cases of entire litters coming into the shelter on a regular basis. Spay and neuter programs are crucial. When asked what the public can do to help,
the faster we have people come in and adopt and get that forever loving animal that they need and they want, then we're able to take in more animals.
Right. Although they're closed for surrenders, Feldman says other functions are still operational.
We might not be taking any more animals, but we are still open. Okay. We're open for your heart guard, your next guard. For emergencies, our ambulance is very much on the road. It is basically, we cannot take any more animals in.
Okay.
But for emergencies, we are there for you.
If you're not in a position to adopt, but you still want to help, reach out through the BHS Facebook page, or simply donate old newspapers. But if you can, start the adoption process to get a friend like Stormy the cat, or one of the many animals at the shelter, waiting for their chance to know love and a forever home.
We have puppy of every size, shape, and color. Come on down and see it.
Reporting for our news, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Thank you so much for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepherd. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Until then, have a safe and wonderful Friday evening.